Hello, and welcome to another episode of New Gameplay Today. I'm your host, Jeff Cork, joined today by Matt Bertz.
Hello.
Hi. Leo Vader.
Hey.
And what are we looking at now?
We're looking at the Division 2's Dark Zone.
Is Tom Clancy's the Division 2?
Well, you could call it that, but
All
he's
right.
dead.
Okay,
so I just
fair
call
enough.
it the Division 2. He didn't make this game.
He didn't make it.
No. So we're in the Dark Zone, and you'll notice one thing up there. It says Dark Zone East. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean we're on the east side of the Dark Zone. One of the big changes in the Division 2 is there are 3 distinct smaller Dark Zones in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Smaller than the one in the Division 1?
Yeah, so it's not just one giant spot in the middle of the map. They've created 3 different ones that they're smaller, but they still feel kind of big. You know, that you don't feel like you're really confined. Mm-hmm. But they have different biomes, so you're going to have different kinds of experiences. In the east here, you have longer sight lines, long blocks in the city that you can have medium to long gun range fights. When you go into the south one, which we'll see a little bit later, you'll see it's a lot tighter. There's more interior spaces. It's a little more close quarters. Even when you're outside, the roads are just littered with stuff, so you don't have as much maneuverability in straight sight lines. You have to kind of jump from cover to cover. And then there's Dark Zone West, which we have not seen yet, but that's the one that takes place in kind of a residential area, Georgetown.
Interesting. So I have to say, one of the things that strikes me immediately is that one of the cool things about the first Division game was I thought the setting in New York in the wintertime was super cool, and that it was just kind of an unusual kind of filter to have everything through, right? Like all your characters were wearing winter jackets and hats with pom-poms.
A lot of Eddie Bauer catalog stuff.
A lot of Eddie Bauer catalog stuff. And here, it's just t-shirts and backpacks.
Yeah, it's summer in Washington, D.C., so that means it's sweltering, gross,
just
humidity.
Gnarly.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
So that's what you get to look forward to here, just constant. You just feel the humidity drip off the screen.
They really should have like the big waving distortion effects to really sell it.
Yes, and you'll notice, like this is the Dark Zone. There's not a lot of people in here, right? One of the things they're trying to do with the Division 2 is create these... they want to make it for everybody. They don't want it to just be the super hardcore who want the most thrilling, dangerous experience. There's still ways they're going to service those people, but this mission that we're watching right now is actually the intro mission to the Dark Zone.
So when I hear you say they want to make it for everyone, I immediately go, uh-oh. Should I be going, uh-oh?
Yeah. I mean, that was certainly my first reaction as well. I don't want it to be like a Disney theme park where it's supposed to feel scary, but it really isn't.
It's very bright, by the way, for this being the Dark Zone.
I know, it is. It's the bright zone.
Yeah. Dark Zone refers to, in the universe, it's kind of like an unregulated area.
Yeah.
To be clear, if you've not played the first Division, it's not necessarily the amount of light that hits that zone.
But does it still work similarly in that you're trying to extract better gear?
Yes,
and
so this is where the higher level enemies are. This is where the better loot is. So there are reasons to come here, just like there were last time. But what they've done is they create this intro mission where you can actually go through this whole area with just the AI. You don't have to worry about getting sniped by players who have like the best classified gear set in the world. So you can just get the feel for what it's like.
Yeah.
And then once you leave and you come back, then you start running into real people.
Yes.
And then it's more of a traditional Dark Zone experience. But the one major point of distinguishment from this one and the first one is that all the weapon damage is normalized between players. So if you have an assault rifle and the guy over there has an assault rifle, they are normalized to have basically the same stats, regardless of whether he was grinding for 4,000 hours to get his super special one.
Okay.
And you're like a noob. So Twitch skills are going to matter a little bit more this time.
But there were still gear set perks that would have you be regenerating health at crazy speeds and stuff that could still be overpowered that way in the Division 1 and the Dark Zone. Have they talked about that at all?
We have not gotten into like how the classified gear sets are going to kind of play out in this game yet, but they want to encourage more diversity of builds in the Dark Zone because, you go on Reddit, everybody says you need this for if you're going PvE, you need this if it's PvP. They want people to feel comfortable with the way they want to play and make it actually a viable option.
That's cool. Yeah, there were specific things I would go for because they sounded fun, but I knew I was not getting the most powerful experience in the Division 1.
Yeah, everybody wanted the defense sets, right? Like that was one of those ones where you could use it for both PvE or PvP, depending on how you geared it out. But what they're saying, obviously, I've only spent a limited couple hours with this. I can't say if that's going to be the truth. But for the people that are bummed out about normalized stats, they're bummed out about trying to bring more people into the fold, there is one nice little caveat to all this. There will always be one rotating, what it's called, occupied dark zone, where anything goes. Friendly fire's on. There is no weapon normalization. You know, it's just, you actually, even the rogue states that players would have, there are no rogue state shades above someone's head, so you don't know whether they've been hunting down humans or if they're just there to get loot. It's going to be the free-for-all experience. It arguably may be more hardcore than last time.
Is that
That's really
skewed more
interesting.
toward like endgame players, or is that
Yes,
available?
that is endgame only.
Okay.
That's cool.
So yeah, they have so many changes.
Yeah. Fundamentally, does it looks like it works the same way that like if you have not played the first division, the dark zone, the gimmick is that you're going here, you're going to these circles where like dropped things like a extraction zone is.
Yes, so the landmark kind of loop where you go to a landmark and recover gear, you go to a supply drop, recover gear. Those are both still like the prominent ways that you're going to be finding stuff.
And you have to extract it.
And you have to extract it. But a nice change, that another part of the Disney theme of making it for everybody, not every item is contaminated anymore. So you might open a chest and get stuff that you can use immediately and you can take out, and whether you die or not, you recovered it. It's
'cause
yours.
You have that push-pull where you're getting this gear, and then you'd have to safely take it back to your base where it could be like decontaminated.
Exactly.
That in the first game at least. So and then to extract stuff, you had to wait for a helicopter to come. At which point, everyone in the general vicinity knew that you were trying to extract something.
Yeah, you're
so it kinda made you
basically
a target.
ringing the bell.
Yes.
You know, I'm over here.
Yep.
Come kill me. That still is the main loop to get your extracted stuff out, but it is nice that some of the stuff you're going to recover, you know, you get to keep. People just can't loot your loot.
Yeah.
Right.
So right now, you'll see we have a supply drop that we're at right here. One of the new things you can do with these is you can steal the supply drop, take it all for yourself. And when you do, you'll see the little icon by my head now. We have gone rogue. This is a new rogue state in the game where I am not under a manhunt kind of qualifier like when you get to the level 5 of it in the other game. I am rogue right now, so people could hunt me down, but I'm not at a penalty state where it's encouraged and they're showing everybody where I am.
Okay.
So stealing right there, that was anybody could have gotten that, but then
Yes.
you decided to steal it, so now nobody else can?
Exactly. So now we're going over to one of these new terminals that are in the game, the SHD network. If you hack enough of these, you learn the location of a Thieves' Den, which is a special safe room where you can go into, and there's unique quests that you'll get from people that are down there. There's unique rewards down there. And this is kind of a loop they're making for people that don't necessarily want PvP all the time in their Dark Zone experience, but they want something a little more dangerous to do.
That's cool.
So like here, no Dark Zone key, that's okay. I'll pick the lock. You know, my rogue state's going to go up a little bit, but
You didn't earn that.
I didn't. Well, I earned it through learning how to pick locks.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Earned it in your own way. This is interesting. I feel like I never went rogue, except there was one time in the Division 1 where my friend was pretty new. He didn't really know what was going on, and he accidentally cut down the rope that somebody else was extracting their gear with.
Oh.
And so nobody saw what happened. We thought the other team went rogue, and we killed them all, and then we realized it was my friend's fault that caused this horrific scenario. But this is more incentive to go rogue, which is interesting because it's a cool way to play the game.
Yes, and the people that really like to, be a part of the manhunt process where they just want that PvP experience in the Dark Zone, there's a new kind of loop for them as well. Once you kill somebody, you're in a manhunt state. There, you'll see 3 indicators for terminals that are kind of around the Dark Zone. If you go to one of them, you can either hit that button to lose your status and you get a reward, or you can double down and increase your notoriety.
Okay.
And you can double down, or I guess triple down if you do all 3, and you'll get higher rewards that way.
Yeah. Does it feel like more of the same as far as gunplay goes? I know that you're not necessarily a huge fan of third-person shooters in general.
Yeah, well, this is one of the exceptions to that. I did like the gunplay. The sponginess of the enemies was the thing that I had a hard time getting over with at first. But once you kind of got to those end game, more raid-style battles where the AI was coordinating differently and, there became more of a chess match to it, I kind of got over that.
Yeah.
I certainly feel like if you had that problem in the first game, you're probably going to have that problem with this one too. They're still spongy. They're a little bit less so.
Yeah.
And they've created armor on a lot of the guys, so you feel like you have to shoot that off before you can kill them.
Yeah, and it kind of visibly degrades and pops off, right?
Yep, exactly.
So you can at least use your imagination and think, oh, the reason why I'm shooting this guy in the face so many times is because it's armor.
Yep. But that that random number generator kind of basis to this loot system kind of predicates that you're not just all glass cannons.
Right.
So if you like that stuff, you just have to accept the fact that guys take 1,000,000 bullets to get down sometimes.
So in this build, did it have any of the kind of the exploration elements? I know the Dark Zone doesn't have as many of like collectibles or crash drones or any of that stuff as the open world in general, but did you see
I
any
saw
of
a
those
couple
elements?
things. So the intro missions, they felt more like standard missions where we found one of those kind of memories that you can play
Oh,
back.
yeah. Okay.
The
So those are
echoes,
in- yeah.
echoes are in the mode, and there's a lot of scavenging stuff. Some of the zones are a little more supply rich than others. I saw a lot of different kind of crafting stuff like titanium and ceramic. So it seems like they didn't want to talk about that yet, but
Yeah.
it seems like there's going to be a lot more options or a lot more stuff that you need to create certain types of gear.
Okay. Did the echoes seem like they function the same way, where it's just kind of this
Yep.
3D static thing, or did they animate a little bit or do anything differently?
No, it was a static 3D kind of still digital recreation.
It's
With-
really
with
cool.
the
That effect is so
voiceover.
cool, and you can like walk through them, and they kind of distort.
Exactly. So because we're in the rogue state here, look, there's some guys and they want to kill us.
So you've been picking a lot of locks and hacking stuff. Are you still in the semi-rogue state, or are you fully rogue now?
We're fully rogue because I just shot and killed a dude a minute ago, I think. Or I did right there.
There it is.
What, you've disavowed
Okay.
the division?
I did.
Okay, so now it's just a full red skull instead of
Yep.
that
So now
flashing
it's just big red skulls everywhere.
one. Okay. I like that. You can still try to avoid conflict if you don't want to go full
Yeah,
rogue.
I would recommend you don't rush like this. My screen was a little bit darker. I thought that guy might be dead.
Not quite.
No, I'm dead though.
Did you have armor too? Did I just see your armor get blown up?
I don't know.
I saw a little something there. Interesting. Well, we're going to jump ahead here.
So now that we've jumped ahead, this is our first sneak peek at one of these thieves' dens. These are those underground secret bases that you can recover in the rogue stake that we were talking about. You'll notice somebody looted the goods. One of my teammates got there before I did. But this guy against the wall, you'll see he has 0.5 MRE. That's a certain kind of resource that he needs to unlock, some more different types of missions or gear that I can get. So you can find different resources in each of the different dark zones.
Okay.
And sometimes you might need to go to the south to get something that the guy needs in the west.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. They're going to kind of have a loop that's going around. And one of them's occupied. You have to decide, is it worth it to go into the free-for-all zone when I just need a couple of resources, or do I just wait out that clock
Yeah.
until that occupied zone shifts? It's going to create an interesting, push-pull
Yeah.
kind of dynamic for people.
And like if you were to find 5 packets of vacuum sealed beef stew for that guy, what does he give you?
I don't know yet.
Oh.
I don't know if it's tiered missions where there's a big payoff or you get incremental stuff. They didn't really talk about that yet.
Okay.
This is one of the other Dark Zone regions. This is the South Dark Zone, which is kind of down by the DC waterfront. This is the origin of the Green Poison breakout in DC. And it looks like they've had a couple other problems since then as well. Half the region's flooded. There seems to be some sort of seismic event that happened because the roads are all broken apart. I don't know if bombs went off here. I guess that's going to be one of the story bits that you're going to find out. But you'll notice like the roads are a little bit more chock full of stuff.
Yeah.
There's lots of cover everywhere, and there's more interior spaces than you'll find in the other Dark Zones as well. So it just gives you a little bit different flavor as opposed to kind of the singular Midtown East flair of the first Dark Zone. I think I'm going to appreciate that diversity.
Yeah. Hey, Leo, check this out. So I see there's a lot of stuff cluttering the area. You've got these crates and cars. How about the UI? Is that going to get cluttered as well, Bertz?
Oh, yeah, it gets really cluttered.
Nicely done, Corey.
If you have like 2 or 3 different groups of agents that are on the same kind of area in the Dark Zone, which I think the cap now is 12 because they're smaller, and you have the AI descending, the screen is just overpopulated with stuff.
Yep.
It's hard to actually see the guys you want to shoot. The nice thing is whether you're playing on PC or console this time, there's a menu that lets you customize your entire HUD.
Okay, good.
You can take stuff off. You can move your map to a different spot if you want it somewhere else. It gives you a lot of different options, and you can save it.
Yeah. I know you were talking about the mini map there specifically, but like we can't show it, but the actual map, how is that? Did you mess around with that much? Is it easy to use?
Yeah, I loved the map in the first division.
Yeah.
I think Ubisoft has sometimes had a lot of problems making overworld maps.
Yeah.
Some of the early Assassin's Creed games, you're like, I don't know if that shade of gray means I'm done with it or I still have to
Exactly.
do it. The game had a great map, and this one definitely isn't changing that very much.
Good flank here.
Yeah, but I probably blow it, is my guess, when I have to reload. No, I did it.
All right. So really some groundbreaking AI I'm seeing. No, I'm just teasing. I keep getting shot.
I did receive a bounty, though,
Yeah.
What was that for?
for shooting somebody who was in the red state, the Manhunter state. You know, once they go that rogue, then there's a bounty attached to their head.
So you're getting the payout for the bounty, you mean?
Exactly.
Oh, okay, I thought you had a bounty on your head now. But you're more cashing in the bounty.
Yeah, it's non-transferable.
It is. So we're going to make our way over to another little kind of landmark space here in a minute. The main loop in this is still landmarks.
Yeah.
That's going to be where you're going to find the most activity from the AI. The thing that's different this time is they're tiered by difficulty.
Yeah.
So you can see before you go in, oh, is this a higher difficulty one? Or is this one easy? And of course, your loot that you're going to get is going to be based off of that tier.
Right.
So you played this at an event, right? So
Yes.
you're playing with only the coolest and nicest guys in town, right? And some Ubisoft employees. But
Wow.
did they talk about what are they doing as far as community to keep everyone happy? Is like, I know that Rainbow Six Siege, there's been some toxicity that they've addressed in a variety of different ways.
Yes. Yeah, the Dark Zone also had a notorious reputation for, you know, when guys are ganging up, especially if you were going solo, they would just tirelessly, effortlessly, you know, talk trash to you the whole time that they're blowing you up and then hunt you down again and do it.
Yeah.
They don't want to have that same experience this time around because the Disneyfication of the Dark Zone.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen now is you can still hear localized chat when you first are around somebody, but the second bullets are exchanged, the VoIP is canceled,
Oh, okay.
basically.
Huh.
They figured talks have broken down at that
Yeah,
point.
exactly. Yeah, like all efforts for peace have ceased, and it's just gunfire. One of the other things that people were really upset about with the first division was there was a lot of cheating, especially early on. All the systems that they built for the last game are in this game. Plus, they're going to partner with a third-party company to try to fight that cheating as well. And they've moved a lot of the data over to server side, so they're going to be able to identify when people are trying to manipulate data and be a little bit more proactive instead of waiting for reports about cheating.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to identify it early.
Yeah.
That's the hope anyway. You know, those systems are always, you have to see it in the wild before you know if it's effective or not. But
Yeah.
that's their goal at least.
Right.
It's gonna be interesting to play this because I came back to the division, like I played it at launch and helped out with the review, but then went back to it last summer, and at that point they had added so much stuff. It was like a new game in a lot of different ways, but simultaneously, like the Dark Zone was, when I was playing, largely unpopulated because people had moved on from the game at that point. So it's gonna be interesting to go to this when this comes out to see, oh yeah, this is what it's like to be playing with other people again.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I'm curious to see if they keep them because the suite of opportunities that you had coming in late with the division. You could play survival, which was
Yep.
my favorite mode, I think.
Great
you could go
mode.
underground and you could just grind for gear down there. You
Yep.
know, there were raids. You had a lot of choices of where you wanted to spend your time.
Yeah, and if you played it at launch and were like put off by how dangerous the Dark Zone is, it's really a great time to play now if you're like a single player person who just wants to like explore and do stuff, because I think in that sense the fact that the people have kind of moved on benefits the solo player.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, the solo player thing is interesting because some of my most thrilling moments in the division were when I was in there by myself. I got an awesome piece of gear that I needed to extract, and that tension of waiting for that extraction rope to show up and then
Yeah.
see if I could get it attached before someone capped me. Since the space is so much smaller in each of these, I'm curious if they're going to really be able to, you know, recreate
Oh, yeah.
that experience, because you're more tightly grouped with AI, you're more tightly grouped with the other 11 players if you're going solo. So maybe those opportunities are going to be diminished.
Yeah.
And moving through the space, you know, you could stick to back streets and avoid stuff. It still seems like some of these spaces, that's going to be easier done than others. There's a lot of nooks and crannies. There's a lot of levels here. Like there's underground, there's in the buildings, there's probably ways you can move undetected, but I think you're going to have to show a little bit more awareness.
Yeah.
So you talked about survival, and they also added PvP and things like that. Have they talked about whether those modes will be available in the Division 2?
Survival is not at launch. PvP is. There actually is a dedicated mode this time called Conflict, where 2 teams of 4 can square off in a couple different, I think there's 2 modes, 3 maps at launch. One of them's basically team deathmatch with like a single elimination ending to it. And then there's also a classic domination style control point capture.
How about the Underground?
The Underground, they have not talked about the Underground yet.
I thought that was super fun in the first one.
It
The way it had
was
its
a
own
little
progression and stuff.
Yeah, you could see the procedural stitching after you spend enough hours in it,
Yeah.
but it was really cool.
Yeah.
So yes, this is our first look at the Dark Zone. I'm looking forward to spending more time in this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you guys think with the new changes you're more likely to spend more time, or at least check it out?
Oh, for sure. You have to watch my front and back respectively too. I'll just cruise through and suck up all the loot.
I'll just be the guy that's on fire the whole time.
It's a diversion in its own way. Cool. Well, thanks so much for showing this off, Bertz. We appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks, Leo.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.